It's January in Cleveland, Ohio, and we're taking a look back at the year that was, and we're also taking a look at what 2023 might be here in Cleveland and our local real estate market. Don't forget to like this video, hit subscribe, share it with a friend, and comment on what you found most valuable. And don't forget to wait for the end, because we're going to give you a buyer tip and a seller tip for the end of the year. So as we look back at 2022, here's what we know. It's still very much a seller's market. Interest rates more than tripled compared to what the year started as, and 2023 is going to be a very interesting year. See, when the Federal Reserve raised their lending interest rate back in early 2022, the real estate market reacted. And when it reacted, as you can see in this graph, you can see that the number of homes that were for sale stayed steady with that light green bar. The red bar, that indicates the number of homes that went under contract in the pending homes. So you can see that once rates increased, things kind of plateaued for a minute. And then around July and August, we started to see that pending number decrease. So as pending numbers decreased, so did the number of homes sold, which is a direct correlation to that pending number. And just for comparison's sake, when we look at December of 22 compared to December of 2021, we had 25% more available homes for sale in 2022 than we did in December of 2021. So now let's look at what the real estate market from a macro level view looks like. And what we're comparing here and what we're showing here is that there was a 20% drop in real estate in 2021, 2022 compared to 2006, 2007. That's important to know, and we're going to talk about it here in a few minutes when it comes to the local foreclosure market and the macro foreclosure market. So when it comes to what mortgage interest rate in that conversation, we saw rates in December hovering around 6.33% or to about 6.5%. And when we look at that week by week comparison in this graph, what we're actually seeing is that December interest rates were the lowest they've been since September of 2022. So what do we think this means for 2023? Where do things go? Well, as the chief economic manager for Realtor.com says, and she's quoted as saying that despite the improvement in the number of homes that are actively for sale, active listings still lag pre-pandemic numbers. Meaning that if a property is priced right, marketed correctly, and in good condition, there's still a really strong chance for a multiple offer situation. Now, there's also a lot of talking heads in the media talking about this potential increase in foreclosures. And yes, there will always be foreclosures in any real estate market. But you can see in this graph that we're a long, long way away from the days of the foreclosure boom, 2008, 2009, 2010. A big reason for this is that homeowners have a ton of equity in their current homes. And that if they needed to sell for whatever reason, right? If there was a hardship and they needed to sell, there's a very strong chance that they have enough equity in their house to sell and avoid that foreclosure. You can also see that the first 3 quarters of 2022, there were only 88,000 foreclosures in the entire country. So we're a long way away from this foreclosure boom that some of these talking heads are talking about. There's also a lot of talk about where interest rates are going to go in 2023 as we make our way into this year. And when we look at the 4 major projections for the year, we see that rates might start in the mid 6s as they have, and then as the year ends, get towards the low 6s. Now, why is this? Well, in large part, it's because the Fed has gone on record to say that they have no desire or no interest in lowering their lending rate until they know that inflation numbers have paused and halted and have not gone up. So once they stop climbing, then we might see something. And by all indications from these economists, it's kind of slated to happen somewhere towards the end of summer, the beginning of fall. So July, August, September is where they feel that they might be confident enough in the inflation numbers to start to bring that rate down. Now, lastly, what do we think is going to happen here in Cleveland in the next 12 months? Well, I think we're going to see homes continue to appreciate, just not at the levels that we've seen in the last 2.5 years, right? Traditionally, in pre-pandemic real estate markets, we see home values appreciate 3 to 5% annually. Over the last few years, we've seen 3 to 5% a month. And we know that's just not healthy. That's just not a healthy market. It's not sustainable. So if you were to look at this graph, we see the 6 major organizations saying that we can see anywhere between 2.6% increase in home values to a loss of 5.1% in home values. And again, that's macro level, US real estate, not Cleveland. In Cleveland, we're probably going to see appreciation between 2 and 5%. And the reason is because we just don't get affected like New York, LA, Chicago, and some of these really big markets. In fact, Zillow named Cleveland one of the best places to buy real estate in 2023. Zillow said it's got to be true. All in all, we expect to find a healthy real estate market this year. We probably won't see any record numbers in home sales. We probably won't see any record low interest rates. And yet, what we will see is a stabilization in our market, making it more healthy, both for buyers and for sellers. So if you're a seller, you're not going to be able to be as greedy as you could have been in 2020, 2021. Or even, heck, the first half of 2022. You're going to need to price your home correctly when you enter the market if you want to be competitive and sell it quickly. For buyers, you're simply going to have more options this year than you have had in the past. You're going to have more homes to choose. You're going to have more time to make that decision. And that's a really great thing for you. However, if you're going into this year thinking you're going to be able to get a deal like so many people did in 2009, 2010, that's simply not going to happen. The deal that you might get is finding a house that's been on the market maybe 30 days or longer and getting a seller concession, closing cost assistance, things of that nature. Homes are still trending to sell at 98% of list price or higher, depending on the market, depending on the neighborhood, depending on the condition. I'm Rich Ganim with the Cleveland Home Specialists and Keller Williams Elevate. Thank you so much for joining me as we wrap up 2022 and talk a little bit about what's going to happen these next 12 months of 2023. Don't forget, hit the like button, hit subscribe. Tell me what you thought was your best, favorite, most important part of this video, and also share it with a friend. Thanks so much for watching. We'll catch you next time.